Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So let's take a look at the sine law when you're trying to find an angle. This is the relationship that we have here, and I'd sort of like to show you something. Let's say I had 1/2. You would agree with me that it equals 6 divided by 12, and you would probably agree with me that it's the same as 5 divided by 10. All of these are the same fraction. They're the same decimal. They equal the same amount. Well, guess what? If I was to flip them, a very strange thing happens. The equality stays true. This is 2, this is 2, and this is 2. So if I have two fractions that are equal to each other, a over b equals c over d, if I flip them, b over a and d over c, the equality stays the same. So you learned the sine law before as this. A equals sine a equals b over sine b equals c over sine c. Well, the truth of the matter is, due to mathematics, I can flip them and the equality between them stays the same. The only difference is I have my unknown in the top if what I'm after is an angle. And that's what we're going to make use of in the next few examples. So, if I'm after an angle using the sine law, so I want an angle, I got a side, I've got an angle, I've got a side, that's a sine law contender. But in this case, I want an angle, so I'm going to put it on top. It's going to be sine of x over 48 equals sine of 64 over top of 44. Now, if I'm going to put the angle on top here, the angle's got to be on top here, so don't be messing with that. Now we're going to cross multiply. Sine x equals 48 times sine 64 divided by 44. Grab a calculator. 64 sine is that decimal. I'll bring it over here so you can see it. So let me do that again. 64 sine is that decimal. Times 48 equals, divided by 44 equals, but that's a decimal. And this is sine x. So I need to do the inverse. So second function, inverse sine, is going to be an answer of angle x equals approximately 78.67 degrees. And you're going to have to remember to use sine inverse. A bunch of the kids are coming up to me in the studio audience and getting some help with their calculators. If you need some help, send me an email. Figure it out. You got to be able to use your calculator. Maybe I'll grab someone's calculator just for a second. Sear, can you come on up here and give me your calculator for a sec? Let me do something with Sear's calculator so that you can see another way of doing it. Let's say you got one of these fancy-dancy calculators, way better than mine, and let's say I wanted to do this. So what I would be doing is 18 squared plus 22 squared, take away 15 squared, and I'd hit equals. So that's the entire top. Then I would divide it by 2, then I would divide it by 18, then I would divide it by 22. And that is the answer to all of this stuff going on right here. This is the answer to that. It's a decimal, but I need to use the inverse. So then what I would say is in this calculator, second function, inverse, so I have to put in the cos, let me get rid of the glare. So I have to put in the cos inverse sign, and then I want that decimal to be up there. Well, there's a trick. See that button there? That stands for answer. So remember I said that this decimal was the answer to that? So we're going to hit that button. Watch. Hit that button. And we have cos inverse of the answer. Hit equals and, oh my lord, we get the right answer. It's so awesome. Let's do the same thing down here. So we're going to do sine of 64. Oops, in his calculator you have to hit sine first. 64 equals times 48 equals divided by 44 equals, and that's what the answer is to this stuff. But I want to do the inverse, so second function sine answer equals, oh my lord, it works. This is wonderful. Thank you very much, Sear.
No problem.
And we'll do the last example while we're here. So let's see what we got. We got an angle, we got a side, we got an angle, we got a side. Let's say I goof up. Let's say I'm not paying attention. I'm sleeping at the wheel. I'm not really paying attention. I go, okay, that's the sine law. And I'm going to go 18 over sine of x equals 28 over sine of 80. And you're going to say, oh no, the x is in the bottom, whatever am I going to do? Well, we're going to remember, Mr. White showed me that if I have a fraction that are equal, if I invert all the fractions, the equality stays true. So what that means is that if this fraction is true, then this fraction is true, or equal. So now I bring the 18 up, I'm going to cross multiply. Now it's up to your calculator. So it's going to be 80 sine times 18 equals, divided by 28 equals, second function, inverse. I get 39.28. So approximately 39.28 degrees. That's my answer. Now I want you